Hey guys, that's your favorite real estate investor, the flip-flop flipper, Robbie Krager. I want to invite you to join us on the school platform inside of our Apex community. Every Thursday night, we put on an amazing masterclass that's going to help you get yourself out of the 9-to-5, out of the rat race, and becoming a real estate investor. On Thursday, October 17th, I've invited really one of my very favorite new partners. I've been in business with this woman for now almost 2 years, and I've learned more from her than anyone else that I'm in business with during that same time. Her name is Deborah Ross. She started the Women's Real Estate Investors Network, and that's a national group of women. They're dynamic real estate investors who are out there kicking ass. And let me tell you, you do not want to miss this masterclass that we're putting on October 17th inside of our Apex group. I appreciate all the support that you give me on the YouTube channel. If you really want to kickstart your real estate investing career, take advantage of this invitation to come and join Apex. During the month of October, it's only $79 a month. If you join now, that price is locked in forever for you as long as you stay inside of the community. However, if you wait till just November 1st, the price is going up. Don't miss out on this great opportunity. God bless. Monday Night Live. Hi, Deborah. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. So, guys, it is absolutely my pleasure to have Deborah on with us. She is a business partner of mine, and if you guys follow the channel, you know that we invite partnerships on this channel on almost every video. So Deborah is the founder of REN, the Women Real Estate Investors Network, and she's got a really, really cool story, a very dynamic group of young ladies who are just kicking ass in real estate, and she's going to talk to us about it. We're going to get into all sorts of subjects, guys, and we would love to have your questions. I think I learn a lot from Deborah. I'm grateful to be her partner because she really brings it, and I just can't wait to let you guys experience some of what I get to work with every week. So, Deborah, so much for coming and sitting down with us. And you know, we talk about all things real estate, and we're talking about new markets today and getting comfortable with that, and want to hear your story. So please introduce yourself a little bit, and then we'll just have a conversation for the next hour or so.
That sounds great. And thank you, Robbie, for having me on. You know, the feeling is mutual. I love being partners with Robbie, and you know, we have a really good clan that we're partners with right now. And I you know, I hesitate to say this, but I'm actually kind of proud of it. I think amongst us, we have over 50 years of real estate experience, at least.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. But you know what? It's great because we're all mature in the business, and you know, I think together we all come up with ways to move forward in the business, which I think is the most important thing to do. But yeah, I think of all of us, I'm probably the youngest in the real estate business. I've been an entrepreneur for over 30 years, but I've only been in real estate for about 13. And it was really a life change that happened to me that really pushed me into real estate. And let me just back up a little bit about that, because I think there's a lot of people out there who've just gone through COVID, who, you know, have experienced life changes. Let's just say it that way. You know, for me, my life change was a car accident. I got into a car accident 13 years ago. I think that for other people, sometimes it's the death of a loved one. Sometimes it's a divorce. You know, we have things that shake us up in our lives.
Yeah.
And this really shook me up and left me physically really bad off. I actually, believe it or not, I broke my neck. You know, and it was a really long healing journey. I was out of work for about a year, just healing and stuff. And, you know, during a time like that, you have time to think, you know, and my thoughts stemmed from frustration and fear to, am I really living my best life? I mean, just the realization of like, am I doing and living how I want to live and do? Because life is short. Like if there's any message I got, it was life is short. You know, and I decided to change my life. I had a nice life. I didn't have a bad life, but it wasn't what I really wanted. Like I wanted freedoms. I wanted to travel the world. I wanted to show my kids that they could have anything that they imagine. You know, I wanted to set this mark on the world and for me, experiences. And I wasn't doing that in my previous life. And I figured, how am I going to finance that? And I thought passive income, right?
And finance that lifestyle. That's awesome.
Yeah. How am I going to finance that? And I literally started Googling passive income. And a lot of things came up, royalties comes up, but real estate just kept coming up.
Yeah.
And, I had read the little purple book, Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which, sends a lot of people on their journey. And I reread that book and I was like, I need to get me some of that. And
Yeah.
after the doctor signed off on me, I realized that I was going to have to start education. Like, I got to start learning about real estate and how it works and everything. But I also realized something else, and that is I had been an entrepreneur for a long time, and I had been selling I created my own job. I had been selling my time for money.
Right.
I was basically myself. When they say self-employed, yeah, that's what it means,
That's
right?
what stuff entrepreneurs can often get themselves into, right? You create
Yes,
business and it just becomes your job, your life. And when
right.
you quit, it goes away. There is no passive. There's no such thing in passive income on a lot of different types of businesses that people go into.
Right. And I realized that was going to take a mind shift.
Mm-hmm.
That was going to take really some growth for me. I was really blessed. My brother, who came out and really helped me during this time of healing, he had gone through a lot of Tony Robbins events. And he said, Deborah, if you want to change your mindset, you got to go see Tony Robbins. And I was like, okay, I trust you. That's what I'm going to go do. And I drank the Kool-Aid. I don't know how many people are out there like, it's a cult.
I walked on the hot coals.
Yeah. I mean, I drank the Kool-Aid. I enrolled in like every program. I actually now work for him. I'm a trainer of his, and I actually help other people make their transitions, which is really neat to be on the other side. But the truth of the matter is I needed to shift to what's up here before I shifted my exterior. And I mean, Robert, you've been in business a long time. And, they say that 80% of, inside the psychology of a business is 80%. 20% is mechanics.
Yeah.
Like, I can teach somebody how to fill out an offer. But when you say to somebody, you've got to make 10 offers a week.
Yeah.
Well, that's all up here, and that's like putting it out there and getting through your fears. And, sometimes I mentor people and sometimes they're like, I think they're half scared that they're going to say yes to the offer.
I think that's true for sure. I can tell you really quick that just in this year's goals, I want to work out 3 times a week. I started telling people that I'm going to do it, and I do that so that I'll do what I say. But I realized the other night as I went for my 3rd workout, and I said on my little short video, I hate to work out. Now that's the message that I've been telling myself for 25 years. And guess what? I don't work out, right? Like, I was an athlete before that. I worked out all of the time. But for 20 years, I say, I don't like to work out. I don't want to run. I don't want to lift. So I'm now in just like day one of reframing my mindset and saying, I love to work out. I feel better when I work out. I'm going to, I can't wait to work out. So this is real life stuff. We'll see if it sticks. I believe that it will, though, that messaging. I caught myself talking to Catherine where she's like, that's your problem. You're telling yourself you don't want to do something. So you're not going to do it. Right. So
it is.
Tony Robbins changed my mindset.
Right. Well, and here's another tip. I mean, you said it yourself, I was an athlete. What if you just put that in present tense? I am an athlete.
I'm an athlete. Yeah.
Right. Like, what if I believe that? Well, we stay very consistent with what we say we are, and so it's powerful stuff. It's really powerful stuff.
And I use to tell people, I use the telling people what I'm going to do ahead of doing it to motivate myself. And I've done that for years and years in business. I'm going to be a hotelier. I started telling people that as soon as I came to Puerto Rico. I'd never done it before. I just started saying it about myself. And the next thing you know, we've got a dozen hotel projects. So that stuff, absolutely, you can speak things into existence and it works.
It totally works. We could go down this rabbit hole where, yes, do I really feel like we are living in the Matrix? Yes, I actually do.
But sometimes I feel that way too.
Yeah, we'll wait and have a drink over that conversation. But I think what's important though is that you understand that the growth process, the process of wanting to change your income level is also internal as well as external. I think that's the point that I'm trying to get across. And for me, it was kind of a dramatic shift because I had this dramatic thing happen. And I think for a lot of people it is, you know, like they finally get so uncomfortable in their current life that they're like, forget it.
So what was your business before the accident, and then how did you make this shift to become who you are today and the leader of RIN, the Women's Real Estate Investors Network? What did that look like, if you can walk through?
Yeah, sure. So after university, I was really I really loved the music industry. I really loved music, and I ended up working for a record company. And I honed in my skills as a graphic artist, and then I left the record company and opened my own boutique design firm. So I had a boutique design firm that was specialized in album cover artwork, DVD artwork, you know, books, all, you know, kind of all those entertainment artworks. And I ran that business for, you know, 20 years. And you know, the industry changed, you know, like I used to like design these beautiful packages. Anybody out there old enough to remember like box sets and, you know, liner notes and all these beautiful things. Yeah. And now you're like designing a graphic that's this big on iTunes, you know? So, you know, I jokingly say that, really the bulk of my industry went away, and I had the accident and I was like, okay, I need to educate. And honestly, I just started going to real estate clubs and educating, listening to podcasts, reading books. I really started just deep dive in that. And then I was also transitioning my mindset at the same time.
Yeah.
And then somebody told me to get an investment philosophy. And I'm sorry, I was born, you know, I'm first generation American. Both my parents were, you know, born out of this country, you know, and we lived, you know, very much a blue collar life. And I never heard the words, I don't know what an investment philosophy is.
I was thinking investment strategy, and you're saying, well, what's that?
I did. I said, what's that?
Like, that sounds like something rich people do, right?
Yeah, totally. And so I was like, okay, you know, I need to learn what that is, you know, but basically it's a plan, you know, like you got to have a plan, right? Yeah. And I was interested in flipping, and I took a course in it. I got a mentor. One of the things Robin's taught me is you want to accelerate your learning. You want to accelerate yourself. You get a mentor. You be around the people that are doing what you want to do. Right. And I got a mentor. I borrowed some money from my brother, and I did a flip. And that first flip was crazy ass great. Oh, sorry. I just got
okay. We're okay. Curse all you.
It was crazy great. And I'm embarrassed and proud to say I made about 100,000 off the first flip, it was a blessing and it was a curse, because it was a blessing in the sense that I was like, dang, this is good. I was like, give me more of that. Like, I was hooked, right? And it was a curse because I thought every flip you should be doing that. And I was like, let me just tell you, full disclaimer, no, not every flip does that. You know, like, you know, sometimes they do a lot less than that. But,
small world. So tomorrow we're going to put out a long content video with the Don, and we're going to talk about his first flip, his first couple. And on his first flip, we're going to make over $100,000. And I have literally had the conversation with him a couple of times where I'm like, Don, listen, you need to understand, this isn't the way that this goes. Like I did 300 deals before I ever made $20,000 on a flip. Right. So this is amazing and it's great, but don't let it become a curse. Right. Like,
absolutely.
Don't, because it's perfectly fine to make $5,000 or $10,000 on your first flip.
It is totally fine to make that.
Right?
Yeah. And, you know, unfortunately, like what happened to me was I was like, oh, this is how much I'm supposed to be. And I ended up walking away from a lot of deals.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have that margin. And I was like, you know, like I got ahead of myself. I'm just going to say it that way. Wow. You know, and then my investment philosophy, I started an investment philosophy, and this is my investment philosophy. I got to make money. So I needed chunk money. And I wanted passive income because that was the whole point. Like, I want to live this life of freedom. I want to live this life of travel. I need the passive income. I need the mailbox money. So I think probably like a lot of beginning investors out there, you think, well, I want to buy a place around the corner so you can keep your eye on it, blah, 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 right? I live in LA. The numbers don't work here.
It's hard to have a passive income on a $2 million, $2.5 million house and not so good.
You can't. You just can't. I mean, even the median price houses, you just can't, you know? And it became a reality to me that if I wanted to stay true to my investment philosophy and get that passive income, I was going to have to invest outside of California.
Wow. That was some courage, right? I mean, that's got to be a difficult thing to do.
Right.
I moved to Puerto Rico so that I could be near my investments rather than try to do it from Florida, right? So that's great.
Well, and I got to tell you what happened that made me realize this. So I was at an investment club, and for anybody out there listening, go to investment clubs, meet investors, like all kinds of investors. They'll tell you what they're up to. It's such a great experience. I went to this investment club. I didn't have any passive income. I didn't own anything. And I was put in a group, and there was one guy that owned something in LA. He had inherited it. There was another guy that owned something in another state. And there was another guy that owned something in another country, South America. Wow. And he was like, it blew me away, right? It just blew me away. And I remember driving home that night and thinking, wow, how can these guys own these things so far away? And then I was like, it's all about risk, right? You have to assess what you feel is risky. You have to do, it's risk tolerance, right? And I was like, well, how do I mitigate that? How do I, make that a little more accessible to me? And for me, I was like, well, I think I need to really study the place. And real estate is a relationship business. I need to make relationships in these markets and be very conscious about making relationships. And so that's what I did. I actually went into the Memphis market. I evaluated markets. Memphis was a really great cash flowing market. It still is. It's a great cash flowing market. And I bought my first house. It took me, I'm going to say like a year and a half to buy my first house because I was fearful. I didn't know what I was doing. And
that's after your $100,000 flip, or
that's after my $100,000 flip. I sat on it. I sat on the money. It was funding more flips here. I did another one, but I was like researching and trying to get into it. And I met this one investor at an investment club that said, I've seen you here for a year and you're not doing anything. Yeah. And he was great.
I've seen people like that before, Deborah. And I would ask the question, how do you get away from that? Analysis paralysis, the constant learner.
Right. Okay, so Robert, you do this for people, because I do this for people now because he did this for me. He said to me, I want to know a date that you're going to receive your first passive income check.
Oh my gosh.
I said a date?
That's
what? But at the same time, I felt challenged. And I was like, okay. And okay, it'll take me this long to figure it out and close the deal and get a renter in. And okay, this is the date. And honestly, that date came and went for him. He had no idea what I said. But it didn't for me, I was like, I'm doing it. I did text him and say, I did it.
So that's what we've advertised that we would talk about, is kind of like, how would you have the courage to go into new markets, right? So you did it, and you just explained how you did it. I think the guy who gave you that advice, I hope you're still in touch with him, but he was a gift from God, right? Like that is amazing encouragement. And now you do that for other people.
I do.
So cool.
Especially see people swirling around, not doing it. And that's what I was doing, and we see that all the time because it takes a certain amount of courage to sit up through it. And listen to this, and anybody who out there who's swirling. And after I did my first one, I bought 3 more within the year.
Nice.
Because I understood the process now.
Nice.
Right? I stepped through it, and then I'm like, wait a minute, that wasn't so hard. like I can do this,
Yeah.
you know, and the belief, hello, we're stuck in mindset again.
Yeah.
And the belief that I could do it went into it.
Hey guys, if you like that clip, don't miss the masterclass. Join us on Apex. It's only $79 a month. It's a small investment, guys. Believe me, this is the best investment you can make in yourself to help you get out of the rat race and become a real estate investor. I know that I'm going to buy more real estate this week, next week, and next month. What are you going to do? Join us on Apex. Let's go.